Good evening. So, I had this weird thought, right? And I wanted to share an observation that I had with you that's helped me, try to balance my life out, I guess is the best way to put it, to be able to understand and transmute energy. How else do I say that to you? And so we're going to get into it, not as some mysticism, not as some just a philosophy based on actual life that I've noticed that by interacting with life this way, I've found happiness in the experience, right? Because we're just talking about personal joys and personal truths on this channel. It's not like there's some universal thing that's true, right? So, energy exchange, you know, I used to think it was one thing. And the most blatant way to talk about it would be like sex. We both had an orgasm. That's energy exchange. It's like the most basic animal understanding of energy exchange. Having an orgasm, the release of that feeling of joy, right, into the universe. That's why they talk about sex magic being so potent. The manifestation point in that moment of like bliss. It's energy exchange. If you're a guy, after you exchange energy, you get pretty tired usually. And if you're a girl, it winds you up, right? So I've been told, I don't know. And so that energy exchange, it happens. It's something that we can quantify and experience in a way that we all have a common denominator. We've all had sex, right? And we've all probably had an orgasm. Even if we only give it to ourselves, we do understand the concept, right? And so like that's energy exchange. But that's not the only way we exchange energy. So I want to expand on this idea as opposed to being like some weird thing that people just take for granted, but they never pull the fucking phrase apart and look at the whole thing and what it means, right? Like, so when you get up in the morning, when you open your eyes, when you gain consciousness and you're experiencing the first moments of being awake, you start exchanging energy. How do I mean by this? Your thoughts dictate reality, right? Like, and I don't mean like the trees turn yellow because I decided they're yellow today. Like, what I mean is I wake up and I decide how I feel about the day. And maybe there's an external circumstance that triggers a reaction about how I feel for the day. You know, you stub your toe when you get out of bed. You got a text from somebody you love in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter, but there's all these trigger points that help you maybe if you're not consciously aware of what you're doing, but you literally set the tone for your entire day. How about like it's a Saturday morning, you're getting up, and you're driving to the beach. This is just a for what if. And that feeling you had the night before when you went to sleep, knowing you were going to get up and go to the beach, and getting up and going to the beach and spending the day at the beach, that euphoria lasts most of the day usually, doesn't it? So with that being said, in the same regard, something negative can happen and you can carry your whole day forward negatively and a bunch of fucked up shit happens to you. This is also true for everybody. This is one of those things I've noticed for energy exchange. What attitude, what perception, which is what attitude is, what perception of the day you have determines how good or bad a day you have. And if you allow your emotions to run it without being checked by rationality, sometimes we can get in a bad mood for a long time, right? Sometimes we can let it get so bad and take it so much over where it should be and let it control our lives to such a point that we don't even like who we are or aspect of ourselves just because of that one perception, right? This is possible. So not only do I believe that energy exchange happens with everything around you, but that you're continuously in an energy exchange with your own, we're going to use soul for the sake of the conversation, that your avatar, right, if you want to call it that, that your body, your reality, whatever, however you want to call it, that you're constantly having an energy exchange with who you really are. I think that may have something to do with being exhausted and burnout and everything else, is like doing so many things that aren't an equal energy exchange with who you are internally. You know, you're a poet, but all you do is write bad book reviews, no matter how good it is. You know, or you went to Cordon Bleu to become a master chef, and all you do is burn fries at McDonald's all day long. That's all you do. Or maybe you're really into animals, but somehow you ended up becoming a butcher. It's like this energy exchange of, what do I want to do that makes me happy? And am I doing it? And if I'm not, aren't you literally giving yourself bad energy every day when you wake up? If you look at it this way, in this weird philosophical standpoint, couldn't we say that you're suicidal energetically? That you're actively participating in trying to kill yourself every day by going against an equal exchange with your own soul? Isn't that a weird way to look at it and talk about it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a kook. I don't know. I don't concern myself with whether or not I'm off where the sidewalk ends. I purposely looked for where the sidewalk ends, and I have no intention of building a house anywhere near a sidewalk ever, for any reason. I have no interest in what's come before, because our world is a reflection of the truth of it. That's one thing. If you ever need a reason to understand why anyone would think along the lines that I'm thinking, the world's off. The world's not right. It's like a false timeline. It's like backwards day, where everything works in the backwards. And if you believe that it works backwards, then it does. And somehow that fucks the whole system up, and nobody can exchange energy correctly to grow from it anymore. It's this weird backwards day. And like, so I thought I would just throw out some common denominators I think we can all connect with. I'm still working on the building blocks above base foundation levels, but like, could we, I think, probably agree, or at least disagree? Maybe I get some disagreements. I'd love some disagreements. That the energy exchange that we have with ourselves determines our entire reality. Whoops, I just locked us back into the thing I've been talking about from a bunch of different angles, huh? It's almost like this very idea of thought itself could be considered energy, and the thoughts that you use before you do action, or before you even, you look at the fucking sunset, right? And you go, all I can see is the fucking trees and a little bit of light. Or you're like, man, that's the best sunset I ever seen in my life. And it is, because even if you saw one yesterday and you thought it was just as beautiful, it was completely different. There's no consistency. It's all unique. Every day that you have, that you live, is completely unique. Even if you go to the same job, drive the same route, eat the same food, it's completely unique every day. It's 100% brand new, choose your own adventure. And every day you have to decide what energy exchanges in your day. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how that works out? That like this concept that your very ideas dictate your mood, and your mood dictates how you interact with the world, and how you interact with the world is how the world interacts back with you. Isn't it funny how it's like A, B, C, D, but it all gets broken down into these weird things and these weird ideas, and these, it's like when they take math and science and geography and they separate them all out, and they say there's no correlation, or at the best they build off each other, but they don't say that every last science is interconnected and they all need all of them to make it work. They break it into individual ideas, and then hyper focus on one. Have you ever met a person that is the best of the best of the best of the best at whatever it is that they want to know, and they have learned and taken it to a level where they're like actually at the cutting edge and like giving new information? They found the edge and they're pushing it back farther. They're pushing it. They're putting more there. They're contributing to the very edge of what we think we understand. Have you ever met somebody like that? They don't know how to get a Slurpee out of the Slurpee machine at the 7-Eleven, but they can build a fucking machine that stops time. They can't pump their own fucking gas, but they can build a rocket ship and tell you exactly mathematically how to fucking make it go faster and better. They eat everything out of microwave meals, but they created a cure for cancer. They exchange every other aspect of their life for a hidden glimpse into one fractal of reality. And we call these people geniuses, right? Because they're so hyper focused on this thing, right? And it's exchange energy. It's the thing, right? Have you ever wondered? I have. So I'm just gonna throw this. Have you ever wondered, like, if you took one of those super geniuses and you gave them like 10 years of education in something else, if they'd be just as good at that something else? When I thought about this, that the capacity to learn is really what makes somebody a genius. Not that they're hyper focused on one niche of reality, that they have the drive and the understanding to be able to grasp the edge of what we consider conceptual reality. How come every one of those people, just about as soon as they're found in the education system, which I believe the education system is nothing more than a filter to find these people, those people are then incentivized to be pushed into a field to learn one thing to the best of their ability and then rewarded for doing so? Have you ever noticed that? It's almost like the smartest people in the world are intentionally found and then incentivized, it's set and bribed, just because I have a speech impediment, to only use that little thing. You think that's possible? You think it's possible that the only way we don't get new knowledge is if they take the smartest people and run them into a cattle chute and tell them they're the prettiest fucking cow in the chute and leave them there? Does anybody else feel like that? I kind of feel like that. I kind of have this idea behind the energy exchange. It's really weird that it's a 100% coincidence. And then anyone that's super, super smart that they don't run through the education system, they're the story of what not to do, right? And they throw them in jail. Their life gets fucking train wrecked. Almost by coincidence, magically. If they don't follow XYZ with a degree. You ever notice that? You don't find super geniuses working at fucking McDonald's, bro. They're in a private industrial fucking complex of some sort, or they're in prison for a mandatory minimum. That's where all the smartest people in the world are. And that's the fucking truth. Our governments don't have the smartest people. The private sector does. Because they can pay the most money. Never forget, the government's run on taxpayer money. They have no money. There is no government funded anything at fucking all. They don't have a dime. That's true. So I just find it a weird pattern that in this energy exchange, where the only way we could all like progress as human beings would be to get the general knowledge up, right? Like you take the bottom layer of what's acceptable because you're alive and you lift that up to just food and water and shelter. We could do that, right? As human beings, I'm pretty sure we could figure that one out. And then everybody that's really smart, you get them together in groups Not one guy in a fucking scientist chair somewhere where he's getting paid $3 million and in non-disclosure agreements and no one else in the world can ever fucking hear about it so they can get the fucking money up. No way. Do you know what would happen if you just took the people that are literally grasping energy that other people don't yet figure out? Like, you need an example. You think I'm fucking kooky. Look at CERN and the people that work at CERN. Look at how smart some of those people are and the roster of the people that are there. There's some smart people there. Very smart. Very, very smart people. And yet, not one of those fucking people will be able to figure it out if they didn't have funding and a bunch of people sucking their fucking dicks telling them they're wonderful. I'm sorry, I can't. What happened to generalization of knowledge to the point where the basic concept of knowledge is high enough that no one can lie to us when new information comes out? Because that's the problem, is the lack of energy exchange between humans and humans. And it's in the way of knowledge. If you guys need another example, look at Dubai. Look at what's going on in Dubai. Look at the weather control. That they are rich enough and arrogant enough to tell us, hey, look, we've been doing this. We don't even care. And our government's like, oh, yeah, by the way, we do that too. That's nothing. Flying taxis, everything made of gold. The level of the United States looks like a third world country next to Dubai. Third world country. And you can only have billions and billions and billions of dollars to be part of Dubai. You have to have ridiculous amounts of fake dead money in a bank account somewhere electronically, because not one person there actually has their money. Don't forget that. It's all a number in an electronic account. But it's not what it is, it's that it's possible that proves my point. It's the idea that somehow we've got an equal exchange going on that's bothering me. It's why I brought this up. Like, everything is energy exchange, and knowledge is, like, to me, just my own personal view on it, is the most important energy exchange that you can give. And you can take as much knowledge as you want. Very few people give it away or make it accessible or make it understandable. And I just want to talk about it. I wanted to point these things out. I wanted to get somebody else's opinion on the fact that, like, everything is give and take. Everything is action reaction. Everything is energy exchange. Every time you cuss yourself out, you damage yourself. Do you know that? And every time you tell yourself you're proud of yourself, you did a good job, every time you do that, you're actually exchanging energy with yourself. No one else can fill up your battery. You have to choose to take in somebody else's energy, and you have to choose to get rid of energy that isn't yours. Everything is a choice. And I've been talking about free choice, but I've been like, we've been talking about these other things, and I thought it was really important that you understood that every breath that you take has a conscious thought behind it. And even if you're one of those people that has no inner dialogue and you never think about everything and you just whistle while you work and, like, the birds fly around you and the seas part and everything else, no matter what, by you living in that vibration, you're still giving that energy off to people, and people love it or people hate it, but you put it off. There's no not exchanging energy. So I don't know about a lot, but I know that for sure you always are exchanging energy with everything around you, like a giant force field of, like, magnetism and all these different light spectrums and heat waves, and there's so many versions of what your body emits. So why isn't this a common thing we talk about? Why isn't energy exchange and how real it is a real part of science? Why isn't it a real part of math? Why don't people talk about it in spirituality as an actual thing? Why, when people say it, they pray, they don't say instead, I'm taking and throwing my energy into the universe with the intent to get what I want by showing homage. And you're supposed to do it in love. That's why I don't think anybody's prayers really work, is you're not doing it in real self-love. And if you don't really love yourself, then your idea of a creator, of God, of something perfect, how can you say that a human being isn't perfect in all his or her imperfections and still be part of God? And you say, well, they're not part of God. How the fuck does that sliding scale work? Which death cult said that? Who said that God was outside of yourself? Who said you weren't God? Who said that everything doesn't react to your energy? Who said that? Who lied? Somebody lied. I'm sure somebody lied about this. And so, in conclusion, without further ado, fuck you. Smile more. Quit being so goddamn grouchy and taking it so serious. You know you can have fun and be happy, right? You can just be fun. Just do it. Just don't even care. Just be happy. Pick something. Be like, this is a cool rock. And I'm going to be happy because I got this rock. I don't give a fuck. And if you need like an example, this is exactly what I mean. You want to practice being happy. Just go pick a fucking rock up. Say, I really like this rock. Fall in love with that rock. Make sure it's just a piece of concrete, you know? Doesn't mean shit. Figure out how to fall in love with that rock and carry it around for a month. And just tell that rock, I love this rock. Look at this rock. Tell people about this rock. Make a story about this rock. Travel with your rock. Do something. It's not if the rock is fucking anything more than a rock. It's the energy that you're willing to practice with. And if you can love a rock, you can love anything. Anything. I promise. If you can find a way to actually feel real love for a rock, just because it's a rock, not because it helps you, it doesn't do anything for you, it's not valuable, it's just a rock, and you have to carry it around, and it's heavy. And if you don't like this analogy, what the fuck are you doing to yourself with all that other shit you're carrying around that's just a rock? All that pain and all that hurt and all that he said, she said, they did to me, that's also just the same thing. That's also a rock that's heavy, that has no value, is doing nothing for you. You're carrying it around. And then what the worst part is, and this is what pain energy exchange is to me, is you'll take your rock and you'll throw it at somebody and try to hit them in the head, and then walk over and pick up your rock and keep walking like you didn't do it. And you take that same rock and you'll throw it at somebody else's head. That's what sharing pain is. It's how many times can I throw this rock at somebody else before I'm fucking over this rock and I've had enough? So now, in my opinion, from my weird way, I've just showed you how to do energy exchange and how to release energy that does not serve you. It's a fucking rock. What are you going to do if you don't have any rocks to throw? You might end up living in a glass house. And if you live in a glass house, even if you walk around naked, if someone sees you in your house naked in your glass house, they're the fucking pervert for coming over to your house and putting their face on your fucking wall, dude. And you can be whoever you want to be in your house, as long as you're not like trying to kill nobody. You're not trying to burn nothing down. You're just living your best life. Even if you want to live your whole life in pain, as long as your house is made of glass and you're not throwing no rocks, who cares? It's beautiful too. But if you're throwing rocks, everybody lives in a glass house. It doesn't matter how murky their fucking shit is. It's all glass houses. And you have to throw the rock through your own wall to hit somebody else's glass house. It's been real, telling you some more shit that you probably didn't want to know, probably never thought of, might not think of it again. But I'll tell you what, I think I'm onto something here. Because if everything is energy exchange, and I keep exchanging thoughts with you, I'm still firmly believing that the whole world will change as a result. Not one little piece of it, not some aspect over there, not. I think that conversing with other human beings and creating new ideas in which we can all benefit from and finding the universal truths that are the common denominators that let us live our individual truths in a beautiful way. I think that's the point. I think that's my point. Is just to exchange energy, not to get energy back, but to see more energy in the world. I already have enough. Any little sliver of a bit extra is too much and it's going to overflow to somebody else. So my idea is like there's probably some empty cups out there. There's probably some people who lost their cups. Probably some people are using trash can lids at this point because they can't find a cup. So I figure if I overflow my cup enough, that eventually some of you guys' cups will get overfilled and it'll create a ripple effect because if we all live equal, but somebody's cup's lower than mine and it just keeps rolling past mine because mine's already full, eventually that guy's will fill up too, right? And since the cup can only hold so much for each of us and it's equal in my opinion, then the second you overflow the next person's cup, then the next person gets some. I think that's real energy exchange. I think that's magic. And what we used to think of as magic was just science that we didn't understand yet. Now, if I want to throw a fireball, C4 and a detonator and a tray bucket. Boom! Fireball! See how that works? 1,000 years from now, shit, maybe 20, they're going to have machines that, like, well, you'll see, I'll see, we'll all see. We'll see what happens, right? But it'll make anyone that lives right now, if you just traveled forward in time to say 75 years from now, a lot of our technology would make you feel like people were doing magic. Magic is nothing more than understanding the physical and other forces and being able to interact with it, to cause a reaction from your action. We haven't broke the time barrier yet. We haven't broke the free energy barrier en masse yet. We haven't broke magnetism yet. We haven't broken down planet building yet. We can't terraform, although we do have some ideas. We're not in outer space and colonized across the universe. We're not there from our perception right now in this point in time, even though it might be true. And we're the only ones that don't know about it. It's just this idea of energy exchange and that somehow you're not affecting everyone else all the fucking time just by existing. And learning that you do affect everybody else. You got to take that shit seriously. You got to take your responsibility seriously because if not, then you give your energy to someone else that uses it, that understands these principles and these laws and understands how to manipulate people and how to get them feel sorry for them and how to do things for them and how to gain favor with people based on what they own and things of that nature. Like, that's all cool, but like, that's not real energy exchange. That's I need more, so I'm going to affect how you think, feel, act, talk, whatever I can do. So it's for me. That's not energy exchange. That's just taking energy. And eventually, you ever notice, why evil always eats itself and it always fails? Do you know why dirty, nasty fucking things always blow up? Because there's no energy exchange. And it implodes. It's not evil eats itself. It's if you put too much evil in one place, it fucking kills each other. They just, boom, it explodes. You just let it fester and it will fucking blow up. When it gets bad enough that everybody sees it, it'll just fucking explode and it's done with. And then you have all these new examples and all these things and hurt feelings and people, places, and things. And that's what wars are. That's what so much shit is. It's just evil, 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 evil. Boom! From the outside looking in, it looks evil. From the inside, from the people that understood, they're like, holy fuck. Can't believe I survived that. That's what war is. You don't know unless you go to a battlefield. If you've never stood on a battlefield, you have no understanding of what war is. If you've never had your life almost taken, you can't understand truly what to fear in death. No matter how much you sat there and made yourself feel bad. So I don't know if I went anywhere tonight with energy exchange, but I feel like I balanced it. I feel like I balanced it because how I live my life probably isn't for everybody. But the ideas that I have about life, I sure want to keep sharing.